Hi, and welcome to the Curriculum Night video for your student's sixth period class, which is choir. I am Annalise Rockow, and I teach that class. I also teach at the high school. I teach choir at the high school. I teach guitar and steel band, also directed study. And this is my third year here with the Mercer Island School District. I am excited to welcome you to this year in the 2021 school year. I know it's definitely a different start to our year, and especially for choir, you're probably thinking, what's it going to look like? So I'm going to take some time to kind of break it down for you and update you on how things are going to go in choir this year. Usually in the beginning of the year, we're starting small, we're learning our voices, we're learning our sound as a group, we're singing simple stuff, and we're going to continue to do that this year. That's how we're going to kind of start our year, and then moving more into November and December, once we have that routine down, once we're feeling good, we'll start to jump into harmony, reading music, all sorts of sight singing stuff. So everything will progress as we go through the year, and this is just kind of a general idea of how our normal years go, and the goal is to put together some virtual performances for your students to share with you throughout the year. One of the main goals that I focus on in choir, especially at the middle school, is kind of this teamwork aspect, making sure that we're being collaborative, that we are respecting our peers, having fun with our peers, and just having a good time learning and making music. Expectations for performance get higher as the year goes on, and students get more and more willing to work harder and have fun while doing so as the year goes on, and that's the main goal of the class. I wanted to just take a quick moment to show you kind of one of the learning strategies that we use in choir, and it's called solfege. And it's a system for students to learn how to read music and use a system that is known by them and that is consistent, but that can be applied to multiple different songs, multiple different melodies, all that good stuff. And we're starting to work on this already. So I just want to take a moment to show you some of the slides that we have worked on so far in class. This is kind of what our introduction looks like when we introduce a new pattern. And for this one particularly, we have two different pitches. We're starting small with two pitches here. And it not only labels the name of the solfege syllable, but also we have hand signs that are used for our solfege in class. So that is something that the students are having fun learning that then applies to other songs and things that we are learning in class. This is a visual representation of the whole scale that we use with solfege, our major scale, and that can then be applied to other songs. And I use it when we're in class also to teach them songs by rote, by me singing something to them and they sing it back to me using the solfege syllables before we add text and things that are more confusing. This is an example of how we start to just learn a simple song. I put the solfege and then the duration of that pitch, little reminder cues here, hold, hold, wait, 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 stuff like that, that helps them just kind of recognize symbols while learning by rote. And then, we just take it piece by piece. So that was one small section. Here's the next small section. And then we put those two together. Once they're feeling good about that, I take some of the reminders away and put the text in there for us to learn that song. I know that one of the big question marks right now, especially for students, is grading. And what I want to draw your attention to is just that my grading philosophy is not for me to make choir as hard as possible, for me to give busy work and all that sort of stuff. I just want kids to feel successful and feel like they're learning something. And that's kind of how I try to gauge my grading in choir. Because I don't want choir to be a high pressure class, all of our instructional blocks will include time for them to complete their assignments and their assessments so that it's not something that they feel like they have to do A, without my help, and B, alongside all of the other homework and asynchronous work that they have to do right now for their other courses. I want them to come to choir, enjoy, have fun, show me what they've learned, but then also be able to go and outside of choir, maybe go spend some time outside, maybe spend time with the family, but not worry about having to do homework for choir. This grading breakdown is available in the syllabus, which is always available on Schoology. So if you have any questions about that, definitely reach out via email. But my biggest thing is just to make sure that kids are not stressing about grades in my class. One thing that I do think is very important is that kids are learning how to be a collaborative teammate within choir. And so that is something that I do spend some good time on and stress a lot in class. And it also makes up 20% of their grade is this fluid grade each trimester. It can change at any time, but my goal is to not give anyone less than a 12. And if students are losing points on their ensemble citizenship grade, I'm always forgiving and always happy to raise their grade when their ensemble citizenship improves. Schoology may or may not be super comfortable with you, depending on your student, how much experience you have with it, all sorts of stuff, but it should be pretty simple once you get in the door. This is what the Schoology page looks like for choir. The 6th grade choir page looks exactly like this. It's just the only difference is right here, it'll say choir 6. And basically at all times in the materials section, you can expect the Zoom link to be first, and then the weekly folder next, the past weeks after that. And then the syllabus is always available there for you to refer to and look at. As far as Skyward goes, I update that by Friday every week. And when your student does have something missing, I would encourage them to check Schoology first to make sure that they, if they can do it on their own and figure it out on their own, then they can go ahead and take care of it. But then if they do have questions after looking at Schoology, I'm always available via Schoology message. Here's that week at a glance document, and at the top it's always going to say Islander Middle School Choir. I do put our Zoom link and then my office hour link also on that week at a glance, just as a backup. It's in multiple places, kids know where to find it, but if they're confused or if they're having a hard time accessing it through Schoology, they can always pull up that week at a glance and it'll be there at the top. In the bottom part of the week at a glance, we've got the timeline, and then that middle column is what are we doing, what content are we focusing on, and then that column on the right is how are students being assessed, and then anything that's highlighted is something that they will submit or do during class for assessment or just an assignment. I want to take a moment to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and seeing how best to support your student. In choir, it's definitely, especially in this virtual environment, a very vulnerable thing for especially these middle school aged kids. They may be someone that runs around the house and sings and doesn't care who hears them, but they also may be someone who feels very self-conscious singing on their own. And I just want to stress to you how important it is for you to support them in their new singing endeavors and ask them questions, but also give them space as they need it, because I would love to have everyone participating by singing at home. I understand that circumstances may be different in different homes, and some days it may be great to sing and some days it may be not great to sing, but just to be understanding, provide space where you can and let them just have fun on their Zoom calls with choir, and know that I'm there to support them and help them along the way. Here you can see my email on the screen. I am doing my best, especially right now, to get back to emails as quickly as possible, within the same business day, or if it's at the end of the business day, beginning of the next day. And if you want to have a phone call with me, if you have any concerns about choir or about your student in general, go ahead and message me or send me an email, and I'd be happy to set up a phone call with you. I'm in the school building most days, so I can give you a call from there, or I can also use Google Hangouts to give you a call and we can chat and talk about any questions or concerns that you have with your student in choir. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I'm looking forward to working with your student this year in choir and hopefully seeing everyone face to face at some point throughout the year.